So this will be a voiceover video as well. If you did see my first video, Kenya Transportation, you do realize how excited I was. So I didn't want to miss anything. This is going to be the same thing, a voiceover video of the safari that I went on when I was staying there in Kenya. I did go to the SaltLick and Taita Hills Resort. This is the Taita Hills Resort in Taita Hills, and the SaltLick Resort is also like near this resort, but you had to check in at the Taita Hills Resort for the SaltLick Resort as well. So this is the Taita Hills Resort. I love how it was decorated and furnished. It was decorated and furnished very nicely for a safari resort. And then they also had like this animal board, so the people that drove the safari vans would know where to see particular animals. They had wrote down where they had seen those particular animals, so that was actually pretty cool. And then they also had this museum inside the Taita Hills Resort, basically the history of how Kenya got its independence. And I love museums. I love basically history and old artifacts, so that was pretty cool as well. As you can see, I did get here at night, and what I am doing is I am being driven by the shuttle bus over to the SaltLick Resort. Now, I believe these two resorts are owned by the same owner, which is why the amenities that you get at SaltLick Resort, you can get those if you stay at the Taita Hills Resort as well, and vice versa. So I am being driven over to the SaltLick Resort, which is the one that I'm staying at, and then once again Taita Hills, I believe it's the same owner because you get the same amenities. It's just the place where the patrons are staying is just different. If you are going there for a safari, I would definitely recommend staying at the SaltLick Resort rather than the Taita Hills Resort. It's only because the SaltLick Resort is where all the animals was, and you were basically, face to face with animals at the SaltLick Resort. And at the Taita Hills Resort, there was really no animals. When you looked outside, we couldn't really see anything from the Taita Hills Resort as far as animals. So I would definitely recommend staying at the SaltLick Resort where you would be able to see the animals rather than the other one. My personal opinion. So this is what the room looks like. It's not that big, if you're coming, by yourself, or if you're coming like just as like a couple, it's perfect for just one or two people. So yeah, it's not that big at all. Right from the door, you're gonna go into the bathroom. So here is the bathroom. Here's the shower, toilet area, mirror. And that is the bathroom. Now, this was the first animal I was able to see. Once again, I got there at night. So here's the first animal. There he or she is at the watering hose. So the resort did have a underground tunnel that went out towards the watering hose so that you'll be able to look out towards the animal. So I guess you would just call it like a lookout, but this is the tunnel that leads to the lookout where you're able to see the animals from windows that they put in there. But I thought this was pretty cool to actually be able to get like a closer view of the animals. I mean, obviously it's from, underground, but it is kind of like ground level because the windows are at, the ground level of the animals. So this was pretty cool. Once again, I went at night and there are bats, freaking bats on the ceiling. I said, hell no. And I think I screamed, I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't about to do that. No, I wasn't going no further than that. But if you can see that gray right there, that is basically the tunnel that goes towards the lookout, basically, that elephant just walked on top of. And then you can also see what the resort bedrooms look like. They're basically on stilts so that the animals can still, pass under. But this is basically the SaltLick Resort experience. The animals are literally right there. And I would rather do this resort if you're going to see animals rather than the other one, because you don't get this type of experience at the Taita Hills Resort like you do at the SaltLick Resort. But once again, if you do stay at the Taita Hills Resort, you will be allowed to take a shuttle back and forth from the resorts, and you'll be able to see the animals as well. I just don't know what time that shuttle starts or what time it stops taking patrons back and forth. So this is just another view of the lookout in the tunnel. And then also this is another view of what the hotel rooms look like. They're just on stilts so that, we're able to see the animals from our rooms. And then they do put those watering holes out there. Those are man-made watering holes so that they can kind of lure the animals in so that, the patrons can see the animals that way as well. And then, of course, so the animals can have a drink. So these are obviously man-made watering holes for the animals. So this was just basically the next morning in our first safari that we took. So soon after leaving the resort area, we ran into a lot of zebras and baboons. Y'all, I was so excited to see this lion. It was the first lion that I have seen, like in the wild, like actually, without being behind a cage at a zoo. This was my first lion that I have seen in a wild. So I was so excited to see this. Now the safari van driver, he did move up closer to him so that I could get my picture. But let me tell you something about these lions. They are not afraid of us at all. They are not afraid of anything out there. But did get a picture, and then we did back up off of him so he can have his little, privacy or whatnot, so we wouldn't be all up in his bubble. But he did not even budge when we moved up closer to him. But yeah, that was my first lion that I had seen in the wild. So we did stay with him for quite a while, but we then moved on to other animals. Now this is a termite hill, and there's lots of them like this. I just thought that was crazy on how big those termite hills were. But like I said, you're gonna see a lot of zebras and baboons. So here are more zebras. And then, y'all, I just had to get my little 1-2 video, with the zebras in the background. So there's that. Now this was just a pretty backdrop, so y'all already know I had to get my little 1-2 step up in there. And then, y'all, what I was trying to do was get me and this animal in the same frame. It wasn't working, so ignore this little part, but yeah. So something I learned about ostriches is that the males are this black color and then the females are a grayish brown color. And then, of course, once again, y'all already know I had to get my little 1-2 pick up in there too, so there's that. Y'all, I'm so horrible trying to get these shots, but I tried, so. safari ride, we just go back to the resort and we eat breakfast. Now, this is the area where we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, one good thing about SaltLick Resort is that when you are eating, you can actually still have a view of the animals outside. Now, y'all, maple syrup here in America is a different type of maple syrup there in Kenya. I mean, I think it's maple syrup, but I'm used to the maple syrup that's, sweet and sugary. This maple syrup was just maple without the syrup, So this is what I mean when I said that you can literally be eating and seeing the animals from where you're eating at. You can literally look out the windows while you're eating and still see the animals. And this is if you stay at SaltLick, or even if you stay at Taita Hills, you'll just have to make sure that you get over here from Taita Hills and, get your food or whatever. But if you're already at SaltLick, you don't have to, get the ride over here, because they do shuttle rides back and forth. If you're just staying here at SaltLick, you don't have to worry about getting that shuttle ride over. Now, this was just me going out to like the road of the resort, and then I just seen, some more animals. And then this was really neat because I was able to see a white prairie dog, which that has to be pretty rare to see a white prairie dog. So that was exciting. And once again, this is like out by the road of the resort. And then I was able to see some warthogs. Now, this is kind of a distance away from the resort. I'm like on the balcony or the deck, the top deck of the rooms. And then I just happened to look you know, over in the field, and I seen the warthog, and he's just laying there rolling around in a mud puddle right there. So he was eventually bullied out of his mud puddle by whatever animal this is. Now this is just to give you an idea of what I mean by the deck. Like, you can stand on the deck and zoom in and see even more animals just from the deck. So this was actually pretty funny to see. The warthog came back and he had brought reinforcements so that he wouldn't be bullied out of his little mud puddle again. But it looks like that mud puddle, actually there's some water near it as well, so the other animals were probably just getting a drink of water. But I thought it was funny because it's the exact same spot, yet he has 2 other warthogs are with him. So it's kind of funny, like, you know, he's like, you're not gonna bully me out today. I got my buddies with me too. But anywho, there's that. Now this looks like a little fish pond. Now I'm not sure if they put those fishes in there or what, and I'm not even sure if they actually built this for the animals to drink out of, because this is right next to the railings where people can stand at and look at the animals. So as you can see, the animals are also drinking out of this one as well, this watering hole. And this is the closest one, like I said, that you will be able to be towards the animals if they come up and drink out of this little pond here. Just to give you an idea of how close you are to the animals from the railing, this is the railing that I'm talking about, and that's the little pond down there that I was talking about. So you're right up on the animals if you're standing at the railing and if they drink out of that little pond right there. So the next animal after these animals, it was pretty exciting to be that close to them, because you guys can see how close I was to that railing and how close I was to that water. So the next animal, I got pretty excited because, you know, it was a group of them and it was a lot of them and they were just literally right there. So the next animal was pretty exciting. I'm gonna play it without the voiceover. Look at the baby. Oh, look at his little sails.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. And that. Yes.
Here is a view from the outlook of the tunnel that I showed earlier. This is actually the view and what it looks like from down inside the tunnel. So day 2 of the safari was way more exciting than day 1. So this is day 2 of the safari. Seen a lot more animals. I mean, I even seen a jackal. This, guys, is a jackal. Who sees jackals? That has to be pretty freaking rare to see a jackal. Now, I didn't see a leopard, my favorite animal. I did not see a leopard, which is also rare, but I seen a jackal. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. So something exciting that I was able to see was a hunt. So these 2 buffaloes were being hunted by a couple of lions, a male lion and a female lion. Now here is the male lion, and then the female lion is in front of him. So she is basically taking lead while he is staying in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the female lion, which, like I said, is in front of him.
The lioness is on front.
Oh, where?
Yeah, right there. See it? It's moving.
So right here is the female lion creeping up on the buffalo. Now, when I was recording this, I did not see her, so I'm slowing this down so that I can show y'all her. And here's another shot of her. She is in the back of this tree trunk, the first tree trunk, that is her. And then once again, the male, he's all the way back here in the back. So at this point, you can see the buffalo is staring right at the female, and she's right here in front. Right there she is, behind that tree trunk again. And then once you start seeing the male lion running, the buffalo has basically have already taken off. So the female basically is the lead, and it's, you know, her against 2 buffaloes. So she has to try and find the weakest one. And then, of course, the male lion is in the back, because we all know the female lions are the ones that hunt. So at this point, the buffalo have already started running, because you see him running as well. So they did not catch the buffalo at that point, but we did see them try and hunt the buffalo. But this was really cool, because we did go around to where they were going to be walking at, and they did walk in front of the safari van. And once again, they are not afraid of us at all. So this was just pretty cool to see the actual size of them, since they literally walked right in front of us. But I'm not sure if they're juveniles. His mane doesn't look like it's a big, you know, mane, but I'm not sure. She looks pretty big though, so. So even though we didn't get to see a hunt and kill, we did see a pack of lions after a zebra kill. So you see the zebra carcass right there, and you see, I think there was like 5 lions here in this pack. But right across from the lions in their kill, there were hyenas that were trying to, of course, take their kill. So we were able to see, like I said, a pack of lions after the kill, and then we were able to see also the hyenas that were trying to take the still. There were more lions than hyenas. I believe there was only 3 hyenas here at this time. So their pack may come. I mean, I know there's usually a bigger pack of just more than 3 hyenas, but at this point there are only 3, so they did not try and steal the carcass because, like I said, there was like 5 lions in this pack. And this lion right here, it looks like he's the one, or she's the one that's mainly guarding it. What she is doing is she's walking to like the outer edge to where the hyenas are at, just to be like telling them, hey, I'm here, you're not taking, you know, our zebra carcass or whatever. But the other ones were back there just resting. But that's where she's walking. She's just walking to like the outer edge just to make her presence known. And then there's the 3 hyenas kind of walking away after she made her presence known that they were not going to be able to take that zebra carcass. But there's the 3 hyenas, and they are one of the ugliest animals ever. Like what you see on TV, it's like worse in person. Like, they are so ugly. But anywho, that was exciting too. All right, so of course the resort, they also had like this little gift shop store where you can buy, you know, souvenirs and things like that. So that's what this is. It's just a little gift shop if you wanted to buy a souvenir or just a little keepsake from your safari. So this is the Taita Hills Resort. So this is what these rooms look like from the outside. So as you can see, they're not on stilts, and then around the property, you can go outside like in the back, and this is what it looks like in the back. So there's not a whole lot, you know, of animals around this property per se, like the SaltLick property. So that's why I recommend, if you are going to see animals or going to a safari and want to see animals, then I would suggest staying at the SaltLick property. Now listen, I know I've been butchering this name, but it's Taita, Tahiti, Tahita, whatever. Just know I'm talking about this, okay? Okay. So here's just another view of what it looks like from the Taita Hills Resort and around. You know, there's no animals like the SaltLick Resort has, but this place does have a pool. So yeah, the most excitement you're going to get over here with as far as animals are these lizards that were literally all over this resort. So if you're looking for animals, you'll get some lizards, and then you'll also get some black-faced monkeys. Hi. So that was me just saying hello to the monkey. But anyways, I did ask a worker what it's called, and he said it is called a black-faced monkey. Here's another view of one of the monkeys from the dining area. So we had just finished eating here at Tahiti Hills. And once again, everything from Tahiti Hills Resort you can use if you stay at SaltLick Resort. So they got their own dining room. They have the pool. They have like just an archery thing. Everything here, if you stay at the SaltLick Resort, you are also able to use as well. Now this was just a weird looking tree that I had never seen before. It had like these spikes on the trunk, and it was a big trunk, but then up in the branches it made like these fluffy cloud looking things, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. But you can even see like when it starts breaking up, it just looks like little cotton balls. So yeah, that's all. That's all I was doing, taking a picture or a video of that. It was just a neat looking tree.
A little bit, yeah, stand on the side, yeah. Pull it all the way. Pull it all the way. Yeah, pull it.
All right, y'all. So this archery was not easy at all. Like, just even like pulling that thing back, it was like there was some resistance to it. So it was like kind of hard to pull it back. But anyways, everything here at Tahiti Hills Resort was available for those that stayed at SaltLick Resort. And remember, I did stay at the SaltLick Resort. I did not stay at this one at all. So everything was available. This was pretty much the last day, so I did go out to the Tahiti Hills Resort just to see what it looked like and just to see what was available over there versus the SaltLick Resort. And I still would recommend the SaltLick Resort just because we had those, close interactions with the animals. So yeah, since I did go to the resort for the safari and just see the animals, SaltLick Resort was the better option. Now, even if you stayed over here at Tahiti Hills Resort, you still got the safaris. I just wanted more of those animal interactions, which is what I got at the SaltLick Resort. Y'all, these bathroom doors were very interesting. I didn't even know which one to go in at first, but they don't have like man or woman. They just have these drawings. But one had a spear and the shield, so I figured that was the man. And then one actually had boobs. So I figured that was a female, and I was correct. So those were just interesting doors I've never seen. All right, guys, that is going to conclude this video of the SaltLick Resort and the Taita, whatever resort, and the safari that we did here. And the SaltLick Resort, they actually do have a bar upstairs, and they had some very interesting drink names. So we're going to end with that. So don't forget to hit that like. Go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so that you don't miss the next notification of when I post my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.